right, call to order the Franklin Tourism Commission, April 20th, 6 o'clock. Roll call, Ed Holfer.
Here.
Jeff Sidursky.
Here.
Sean Rufka here. Lance Schaefer, absent. Mark Wiley.
Here.
Barbara Wessner.
Here.
Okay, number 2, citizen comment period. No citizens here. All right, 6:04, closed citizen comment period. Item number 3, Joe and Mike stated to me that they weren't going to be able to make it today, but they thought that they might send some folks from the Milkmen. Is this them?
Hi. This is the Park Commission meeting?
Nope.
No.
Nope, that one's upstairs.
What do you tell us down here?
Nope, this is the Tourism Commission.
Oh, that's what we want.
Oh, yep, come on
That's
in.
what we want. Okay.
Do you have any citizen comments? Do you want to talk about?
Answers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk?
If you give me a minute, sure.
Okay, yeah, here. Okay, we'll go back and open the citizen comment period. Go ahead. You want to sit down?
Whatever, sure. I called up and they said we were number 5 on the agenda, so I
Oh, no.
took it we were going to be number 5 or something.
We've already discussed you about 2.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to talk before that.
Yeah, I don't know if you could, if there was a letter that was sent out by Mary Mary Carson. Actually, she's Mary.
I have some copies of, because Mary sent me a few of those.
Oh, okay.
copies.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess she was just expressing the views that that we're providing some things for the parks and for the enjoyment. So and so anyway, yeah, and so her comments were that we're trying to be something that helps the community and gives everybody a chance to enjoy the park and park center. And we do have people come in from all over the place just to hear the bands. In fact, for the last couple of years, we had quite a few people attending just because of the performances we tried to do. They used to just traditionally have things like the chamber orchestra and some small groups, and then we expanded into doing some more contemporary or rock and roll bands and things like that. So we did get a pretty good turnout, I think, the last couple of years, the last 2 years. Well, the COVID kind of cut down that 1 year, but in 19 and that 1 year, but in 19 and last year, in fact, we had a very good turnout. And now we've partnered with the health department and with the public library. So that was something that was kind of. We heard comments from the people. We heard comments from the people that attended that they said they thought that was they got information for things that they could use for themselves and their family. So, again, we are just privately funded, so we have to reach out to everyone, anyone and everyone that wants to give a donation. And the band, we don't hire high-priced band. I don't know if any of you, I should take this off. If any of you attend any of the Greendale concerts and things that they have, but they are. I mean, they hire very expensive band. We don't have $5,000. Very expensive band. We don't have $5,000 to hire. We're more like $500 bands, things like that. But again, we rely on private contributions to try and put something together, and it's very enjoyable. So I know I did this stay over at a hotel. And in the first place, I don't know how we'd ever, I mean, unless we passed out a questionnaire to every person that would come to the concerts and say, are you staying at a hotel or aren't you staying at a hotel? Maybe there are, especially in the summertime. There may be people that are traveling and they actually do stay at a hotel. We would keep track of that to see, are people coming here that are going to stay at a hotel? That concept kind of disturbs me because I don't know how you would do that. How do you do that? How do you find out if a person came here just for the purpose of they're going to stay at our historic village or listen to the bands or whatever? I mean, there's I know the village of Marcia, was that a little Delafield one too over there too? I think it's just Delafield. Anyway, they have Anyway, they have concerts and they've built a
Have you reached out to the Parks Commission?
Yeah, they told us to reach out to you.
we talked to you. Yeah.
And they did, there was a donation several times previously, so all of a sudden it's cut off, so that's kind of a question.
Yeah, I mean,
It's cut off, so that's kind of a question.
yeah, I mean, we're not, anything would be helpful. I mean,
So what did the Parks Commission, just so that we can know everything, because we're going to talk about this on item 5
Yeah.
internally, but like, did the Parks Commission ever give you any funding?
Not that I'm aware of. This is actually the first year that I'm.
Ever give you any funding?
Not that I'm aware of. This is actually the first year that I am the director of it, because
Okay.
Dale Ford retired last year.
Okay.
He's 84 years old, so he retired. But
When you called them, they did say you should check with the tourism.
yeah, they said check with the
Yeah,
tourism,
that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and again, we're, anything would be good. We do not hire high-priced bands, but we try and provide the best entertainment that we can. And if we can even, like we are going to have the Concord Chamber Orchestra. They have 40 people. I think we're going to give them something like $700 this year or something like. I think we're going to give them something like $700 this year or something like that, which is not a lot for a band of that size. Well, most of the other bands are $400 or $500, things like that. So anything helps. That's again, we're not looking for these major bands that come with a bus and they got 6 semis and all that kind of stuff. So we don't hear the thing and they say this was just wonderful, and then they enjoy walking through the historic village too at the same time. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, is there anything that we would? I guess that was one of my main questions. How would we keep track to find out if someone specifically came here to stay or for being able to
Yeah,
be a recipient?
normally they would get that from like a marketing type firm or
Yeah.
from the hotels itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, because we have no way. We're not going to walk through the crowd and say, "Hey, did you stay at a hotel because you came to see the rock and roll band
No.
this
Well,
afternoon?"
no, but
It's not
our
good.
groups that are drawing people from a farther away, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you said, you're not a marquee thing where people, or a band that has a big following that,
Yeah.
nobody's going to come drive down from Madison for what we're doing here. It's not what we're doing here. It's not so
I
much.
do.
That's sort
Yeah.
of a catch.
I think
because
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't,
You
unless
can't.
you have
Right.
a lot of money, you can't.
You can't
hire.
do that.
These
Right.
bands are thousands
Okay.
of dollars.
Yeah. We even have people now. This past year, I've had, I believe, 4 bands from Illinois, from down around Chicago and south, west of down around Chicago and south, west of Chicago and in the suburbs and things like that. They're asking, can they please come up and play? So there are bands have heard about our our venue over here, and they do want to play, and they do have following. So I mean, you need to start somehow so that it would escalate, and unless we have money to do that, we really can't. We'll never progress, and it's something we're trying to do. Again, we're privately funded, so we're at the mercy of.
Okay.
You own a dry cleaning store. Can you give us a couple $100 so we can hire a cleaning store? Can you give us a couple $100 so we can hire a band? And it really leaves us out kind of.
Well, we're going to talk about it on item 5. So if you want to stay here,
Okay.
we can get to. We should be there relatively soon. And then we're going to go around and talk about it.
Okay.
I'll go for it.
Okay. Thank you.
You can sit down if you'd like to stay.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
About it.
Okay.
I'll go for it.
Okay. Thank you.
You can sit down if you'd like to stay.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, item number 3, Engage Franklin update. Joe stated that he could not attend. He stated he might have some Milkman folks show up tonight, but I don't think they are here. So we will skip the Engage Franklin update. Item 4, something that we do have to talk about, is the 2022 Milkman activations at Franklin Field. Mark has been working with. You want to go ahead? Explain.
Sure.
What you've been.
So I don't know what his title is. Nathan.
Nathan?
Nathan is the guy I've been dealing with from the Milkmen, and we've made a lot of progress. There's a lot of concerns left over from last year, and I think they've taken care of most of those. They have given us our 8 tickets, And they put us in 2 different rows, so we can have 4 people and 4 people, which will make it easier for if you're entertaining somebody.
So just to rewind a little bit first, so we get tickets from them that we're allowed to use in the community or for whatever ties we want. We're also throughout the game and throughout the season.
Right.
And then we're allowed an in-game commentary either before or during the game with some jumbotron presence. And then, quote me if I'm wrong, Mark, we're also like merchandise in the team store to offer that. We're also allowed a giveaway. So this is all the stuff that he's been working with Nathan on.
Yeah, so opening day is May 21st. And we've talked about sponsoring, we can sponsor three different games. And Sean and I had talked about doing opening. They're going to have a petting zoo and some other farm-related type things that tie in with milkmen. And the only challenge is and I have not gone through the contract yet, they want to charge, or they've established 9 different key games that they're focusing on. So they're making big pushes on those. One of those is opening day. One of those is a candy drop. One of them is a fireworks night. Sean and I talked about we would like to sponsor those, but they want to charge $3 or $3,000 more for each one of those games. And I don't know if that's allowed in the contract. You check with what the Brewers do in that situation, and they would generally honor the existing price.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody else handles it with the contract agreements for sponsorships, but we handle it that the day you sign a contract, you get locked in for whatever price that is, regardless if the point of a can of beer goes up. I'm still giving away a can of beer. For me, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around why, if they're supposed to give us these activations, they can, and we're giving them the X amount of dollars for the naming rights. Why should we have to pay $3,000 more if we want to participate in a fireworks show or a candy drop? We already paid our entrance fee, regardless if it's year 1 or year 6 or year 20. Like, we paid for that.
Yeah, so I have not gone back to them to challenge the 3,000 yet.
Now, the only question that I did have that I think we need to go back and talk to Nathan about is, last year, did they give us those things because they knew that they were behind in their assets? Remember that?
Yeah. Last year they gave us The Hill Has Eyes and another fireworks, and I think that's because they were behind.
And they gave us a candy drop.
Yeah. Another fireworks, and I think that's because they were behind.
And they gave us a candy drop.
Yeah. So I need to go back and challenge the 3,000. Now, they did ask if we want to do opening day, which so far we are penciled in for opening day. The rest of them are penciled in for opening day. The rest of them are up in the air.
So they want us to pay $3,000 more for opening day?
Yes.
That can't happen.
Is there any, I haven't looked at the contract for a while, is there any exclusions to?
It doesn't, I just looking at it, it doesn't say anything about, because it says sponsor.
There's nothing in the agreement that states that if inflation goes up or if things go up, that we have to pony up the money. I can tell you that.
I think that's what I need to do is go back to him and challenge the 3,000. Still tell him we want to do the opening day, and we still want to do.
I'm not telling us how we need to do this. I think we need to talk about this. But if there's one day that we want, it's opening day. Mm-hmm. If they're planning on being sold out, it's a Friday, right?
Yes.
They're planning on being sold out that Friday, and I was talking with Lance Allen, and he would love to participate. And I told Mike and Joe that we need to do something ahead of time with Lance to get on TV to show Franklin, and he was all on board with that.
No, is it May 21st or 21st is a Saturday.
No, it's right here, May 3rd.
First is a Saturday.
No, it's right here, May 3rd, right there.
No, that's 13th.
Isn't that the May 3rd? It's their home opener.
Oh,
Yep.
May 21st is Donner Farm. So the home opener is what, May?
No, May 13th is the home opener.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so May 21st is the down on the farm then.
Yeah,
First is the down on the farm then.
yeah, and then May 13th is the home opener. That's
Wait, May 21st, they're not home.
Yeah, let's see, I thought the home opener was,
They're not home on May 21st.
Let me see what the dates are on the tickets.
So, long story short, though, I feel that if you're talking right there, if we're included in how many events, how many games are ours?
3.
3. So pretty much then they're asking for another $9,000 because pricing went up if we want key dates.
Okay, so the first tickets are the 13th. I don't know where, I must have fat fingered the 21st.
It's fine. It's the 13th.
because I'm doing the 27th, that's why.
You're doing the 27th?
Yeah, our nonprofit's on the 27th. Which is that Friday.
These are copies that everybody
Yeah.
can have. That's
Like,
that's
did
what
I
you
have
were
the wrong,
curious
is that why I
about.
had the date wrong? That's all.
Well, but that brings up a point. We need to talk about how we use these tickets. And
Question, are those tickets for every game or just the 3
there's
games?
8 for every game.
8
So
for every
Every
game?
home game that's on.
So they didn't. We thought that maybe they could. Was talking with him. Maybe we could print off the tickets and do something with the community.
Mm-hmm.
However, they don't want to print them off,
No,
right?
we can't.
We can.
We
So you
can, or
print
we
them
can
off?
do a will call.
Okay. So we can print them off and do different things with like.
We
So you
can, or
print
we
them
can
off?
do a will call.
Okay. So we can print them off and do different things with like, I threw out maybe like do like a summer reading thing with the library, or I mean these. Let's be honest. This is not. The tickets are part of our package, so it's not going to relate to tourism. But this is not. The tickets are part of our package, so it's not going to relate to tourism. But there could be we could do it towards by donations or helping businesses or doing things for like raffling or doing things to get back to the schools. So that's kind of what I thought of it. But unless anybody
Try to foster better relations between Common Council and tourism and invite some of the aldermen to come to these games with us, with somebody from tourism.
Can they accept those gifts?
Yeah, that's a question there.
I just went through this with the city attorney on something else. Well, not if they're gonna discuss business, you can't talk about anything city related, because you have a quorum then.
Right.
My position is, I won't accept anything, even if it's
Yeah.
$5. So if I have tickets, I'll give them away or whatever the case may be.
Okay, was it what?
was spread out the dates.
Yeah,
We talked about it was 3 dates. We talked about May, and then, or we were talking about too is if they wanted to reduce some of those assets of taking certain things away, do we spread at least something out through the whole year? To reduce some of those assets of taking certain things away, do we spread at least something out through the whole year? But I think it was May, then we say June and July
yes.
are the 3 months that we would hit the most.
The other point to make is if we don't use these tickets, they will accept them in trade. The other point to make is if we don't use these tickets, they will accept them in trade for later games. So if we wanted to be on as available seating. So if we wanted to hold some of these tickets and not use them, we could wait and use them in August for
In other
for
words,
more.
use like 16 at a time.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
I'm not too concerned really about the tickets rather than I am the events and the amount of money that we need to spend to secure those. Like that was the biggest hurdle last year was we didn't lock in dates of what to promote Franklin. And that's what we got hit on the most. It was very rushed. That's why they did the fireworks last minute, the candy drop last minute, because they knew that they weren't doing it. So it's nice if we could spread this out between those 3 months.
Yeah, it
And-
would be.
yeah.
So I need to resolve extra.
What about the Jumbotron? Did they say that we have to pay for that, or are they going to do that?
The Jumbotron is in the contract, and they gave me the announcement that we had that was read over on the announcement last year, which I think is fine.
Okay.
We can use that again. I have not seen the Jumbotron from last year.
We did not have it. It was Carrie was supposed to create the Jumbotron, and she didn't want to do it. So this is now on Nathan to do.
Okay.
So that's the way I look at it. If we could approve the Jumbotron, we would have to do that virtually, meaning send it out to everybody.
No.
We would have to send it to Sandy. If you send it to me, I can send it to Sandy, and she could send it to everybody and get their input. We probably want the mayor to see the Jumbotron too. So they wanted us to do cowbells, guys, and we issue for opening day. They wanted us to do giveaways with the zoo thing.
Co-branding.
It was a co-branding, so we would co-brand cowbells with Franklin on them, and I said no way. And I talked to the mayor, and he's like, "Yeah, no, we can't do that with the sound ordinance." So we need to think of a promotion item. We don't have to determine this today, but if you want to send me over your thoughts.
If you want to do a promotion item for the down on the farm, we would need to do it today.
Okay.
Very quickly. If you want to do a promotion item for the down on the farm, we would need to do it today.
Okay.
Very quickly.
Okay.
Because we'd have to get it, we have to procure it.
So I think it would be cool to do more a little stuffed animal type thing with like a Franklin for the kids. More or less with like a Milkman logo on it and a Franklin. More or less with like a Milkman logo on it and a Franklin logo on it.
These are things that are included in the.
Yeah.
The giveaway is included in our.
So they would pay for
our
it.
naming rights.
So the thing is that then everyone would come, but then now if we want to, we can do something as simple. A kid that walks in gets plush, and maybe an adult gets something like a can koozie or something to use. We can split it up either way. The mayor said he wanted a lighted up Franklin Field sign, and I said there's no way that's going to happen in a month. So any thoughts on what we can do for a giveaway?
I think the plush animal would be a neat. They haven't done that, so that would be something different.
Plush cow.
We did a plush cow that
That
would
should be
fit
a
down
cow.
on the farm.
Okay. The thing you could do is if they don't want to do that and you want to do one thing, you could do an easy thing as a drawstring bag. Like a drawstring bag that has the Franklin logo on it. Tons of kids are going to be going to summer camps. They're going to be doing things during the summer. Parents are going to be doing things that they can carry it around and use it for other games for when they come. Summer, parents are going to be doing things that they can carry it around and use it for other games for when they come. I don't know if they have, I don't think they have a clear bag requirement, but you could do clear bags.
I
Excuse
don't
me.
know
Number-
if they
If I
have,
could in- oh,
I
Excuse
don't
me.
know
Number-
if they
if I
have,
could in- oh,
I don't know if
sorry.
they have a
I had
drawstring
thought
bag.
That's
Yeah.
helpful. Remember when you used to go to Brewers games, they give you, I mean, a little soft, a little pad, but it was covered with vinyl, and it just said Brewers on it.
Oh, the seating cushion? Yep,
Oh,
seating
yeah,
cushion.
Because everybody uses those, sometimes it's,
That's,
I don't know what they cost, but.
Okay.
Let me go back to Nathan and challenge him on the 3,000. I'll propose those and see what he bites on.
Yeah, so I would say that stick with May, a game. I think I'm looking here, so the 13th, if we can get like, they're doing something for Chick-fil-A on the 24th. Or maybe, I don't know if Chicago travels well for them. Maybe we can do something in that midweek for Chicago, and then we can do something, it'd be really nice to get 4th of July to tie in, because they're going to have their events by up there, and then we'll have our events over by us. There'll be tons of people from outside the community
Okay.
attending. It'd be nice to have those dates.
So do you want the actual 4th of July?
He's going to have fireworks right there at the umbrella bar and everything. So they'll probably be proud of that day. And then with the civic celebration going on,
Exactly. When, is the city doing fireworks this year?
No, the city does,
Yeah, they-
fireworks for the city are over at.
yeah, they're over here.
Yeah, but they are doing it though.
Yeah. So let's keep in mind we are going to get an announcement and we're going to but these are for Franklin actual dates. So kind of want to see when people are going to be there to promote our community. I don't know if June would be a good one, but I don't think
July 4th would be a good one to have.
really.
I mean, a lot of people, you're splitting the audience. Want to stay in their community, you're going to have people want to see it, so you're not going to get the, July 4th, that's why even like Summerfest had a bit, they don't do July 4th because it's
Right.
Okay.
not popular.
So when are they? Do you know when are they doing another firework night in?
I mean,
So May 13th.
I mean,
So May 13th is the down.
May 13th. Okay.
if you wanted to do like the July 6th game or something, after the July 4th, but don't do the July 4th game. If people are in town,
Okay.
they may want to, but not to do the 4th itself.
Then let's try to stick with weekends then though. So let's try to stick with weekends then though. So let's try to maybe get that July 8th, 9th. You good with that?
8th, 9th would be Chick-fil-A and
Yeah, I don't know what they got.
They got
That's a Jersey auction and
that's a firework night on the 9th.
state fair deal.
State Fair deal, yeah.
So if they can get us that firework
State Fair deal, yeah.
So if they can get us that firework night on the 9th,
Okay.
and then the 13th we can do the opening day, and then
So not the 4th, but opening day,
the
the
9th,
9th.
and then for June do like the 24th.
Draw days are, do we?
Well, to his point, if you look at, they're promoting heavily it is these candy drop days, and anything you see on their schedule with like a beer, a jersey, those are their big dates that they're trying to get going. So like even if you want to take that 16th, that Chicago game
Like
with
that.
the beer,
I'm
that'll
just
be
wondering if people come up from Chicago,
that's yeah.
that would be.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
know how many.
So let's test it. Let's test it out.
Yeah.
So, okay, do the 13th, 16th, and the 9th.
So not, okay. 13th,
And that spreads
16th,
us out pretty good.
9th. Okay. And then I guess what I need is for you guys to think about if there's somebody that wants to use those tickets in between. Like, I don't know if you would be interested in something for your
So
center.
that's,
or-
so that's how we can do things. The Polish Center, like, would you guys use anything like this?
Yeah, I mean, the things that we do, for our member, we do the events. Every Wednesday we're doing a cafe now.
Okay.
So it'd be a good, so we could do raffles or something like that. That's what we would use it for.
So Mark, can you,
I've got them all on my phone right now.
Oh.
So,
okay.
So we need to talk
So
to
can
you
we just
about
print them all out?
Okay.
Go.
or I can have them all set to will call. So,
I'm just wondering if we print them all out and then kind of reach out to some of our contacts to see
if you print them all out, though, it'll be tougher to turn back. Print them all out, though, it'll be tougher to turn back in the ones we don't use.
well, that's where my question is, are we really going to be monitoring it enough to turn those back in? That's,
Yeah, that's a question.
Yeah. Let me ask Nathan about that.
okay, yep.
Um, the other thing we get is 2 one-hour appearances, off-site mascot and player. I think your idea of doing something for the Little League is good.
The Little League reached out and asked for some support there, and then even things like other community areas, that's how we can support that. So things like other community areas, that's how we can support that. So like civic celebration, are they looking for something? The concert, are we looking for people to attend that? Like that's ways we can tie back some things that we don't fund.
I think they're already tied in with the parade,
Are they?
I'm pretty sure.
I do know Little League would really appreciate them coming.
We can decide
For the
to do that.
kids.
We could pick a date and just say we want to do Little League, be one of them.
I think they'll probably want, it's going to be that first or second weekend in June. So I think it's that 3rd, 4th, but I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Talked about was Lux Golf is going to be opening up in June. We talked about we want to somehow have a sponsorship there, just as we do at Franklin Field.
Is that in addition to, or just?
That would be an extra cost, and they have not given me a proposal for that yet.
I spent a lot of time up there at the ski hill. My son started snowboarding again, and there's a lot of opportunity for people that just aren't not from Franklin that come there, and they have a deal with Little Switzerland that you can share pass. Have a deal with Little Switzerland that you can share passes, and you can go to both of them for free if you're a member. There's nothing that says Franklin on the ski hill at all. It'd be nice to do something either by the tubing area on the ski hill at all. It'd be nice to do something either by the tubing area. To put some signage over there, or put something even going down the hill. I didn't know this, but they have high school competitions, like 3 times during the winter, 4 times during the winter. That brings in other high schools, and they do races and stuff like that. And at the bottom of the hill, where the park is, parents lounge there, and they watch their kids. So there's no Franklin when we're there. It'd be nice to try to figure something out there with them.
Yeah, and his question to me was, what was our intent? And I said it was brand awareness. Just
Total brand awareness.
making everybody aware that Franklin is a place to come to.
Right now, when they're going skiing down there, they're not seeing that they're not in Franklin.
And a similar thing would be for the Hill Has Eyes too. Mike and Joe have talked about that's a good draw for them.
Hills Has Eyes, they did a very good job this year of getting us on TV for that, and then getting us media exposure. But again, I think we want to make sure that continues. Advertising it said Franklin. I don't know if that's going to continue this year because of that was more of a gift to us for them not keeping up, but that went over very well. You guys good with that? Him exploring that?
Yeah.
Okay. What about talk about there with that? Because
They were going to generate a proposal to me of what they thought they could do.
Okay.
I haven't seen that yet.
okay,
So
it would be nice if they could do something for the community before they open.
they are I heard them say they're going to do a soft launch, and I don't know what their plans are for that. And when I look at the building, that's very ambitious. But I would say I will bug them on that. I can send you a note, and then you can have Sandy send it out to everybody.
Okay.
Not to everybody.
Okay.
Do you have a time frame, Mark, for when you think you can get discussion going about the sponsorship things?
As far as
The additional costs that they're asking for?
I'm going to do
Additional costs that they're asking for?
I'm going to do that tonight yet.
That'll be
I'll
done.
Send it back to Nathan. He's very responsive.
Just so we don't wait another month.
It can't be because if they do, they're not obligating their contract. And I think we left it very clear last year that that we can't draw these problems. So that's where I'm saying we can't draw these problems. So that's where I'm saying, like, in the next week or so, we should be seeing something from the Jumbotron. And then we should be locking down these dates to know what we want. It might have to be through email, but we can.
I was gonna say, can you send some out email?
We will. We'll.
Because I mean, you can't wait. It's
Mark can summarize
Yeah.
that this is the plan, this is the plan, this is the
these are the
and
dates.
then
You can summarize. These are the dates we want. And
Sandy could send it, and if you have any problems, send it
Right.
back. But the way that to summarize it, so you guys get the notes, it looks like we're going to target the 13th of May, the 16th of June, the 9th of July. We're going to
Right.
push them hard on not paying $1,000 for this, based off of it doesn't state that in our agreement. Promotions, we're good with seat cushion, drawstring bags,
Plus animal.
plush animal. whatever they want to do there. If they have other ideas too, please have them. If they have other ideas too, please have them, state that. And then mascot nights, we could gift that to Franklin Little League and one other community tied event.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you're right. They were.
Tied event.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you're right. They were. I mean, the ball players were in the parade last year, so. Okay.
Does that sound good? And then you'll get back to it. Then, I guess Hills Have Eyes are probably already working on that. And then Lux Golf, I'm sure Have Eyes are probably already working on that. And then Lux Golf, I'm sure they're working on that too. So we'll probably need to know that relatively soon as well.
Yeah. And then, okay with the announcement that they had last year.
Do you want to pass it around so they can read it? Just so that.
What's in green there? Yeah, I might sharpen up there's a couple of extra adjectives I might take out, but I can see where that could be read in 30 seconds.
I also don't like that it states that it's like you have other places you can spend your time. I feel like it should be more of like
Don't remind them.
don't remind them like
Yeah.
you're in Franklin. Like,
Right.
So,
Which of you wants to throw out the opening pitch?
you can
No.
on opening day.
On whatever,
No way.
on any of the games that
Unless
we
they'll accept a
sponsor.
roller, I could throw one of those. No way.
You couldn't do any worse than the guy that was pitching in that.
Yeah.
So 2 people said it was a little bit long. I'll sharpen it up and I can send it out. And I think the rest of the stuff that's in the contract, we're compliant. They are compliant too.
I think they're compliant to pretty much everything that we're doing so far. I just think the biggest concern that I have is going up.
Yep. Well, I don't think
It's
their
a
costs
contract.
went up. I think it's because Mike wants to make more money.
They just-
He's saying, I'm gonna promote these games, I'm gonna draw more people in, so you're gonna get more exposure, so you should be happy to pay.
So I think that's okay. So let's talk about that for 2 minutes. If that's the case, Lotron appearance, we're still having them talk. Is there one date in out of those 3 that we feel are definite? I feel opening day should be a must.
I think opening day, we have to lock that in, because he's already got somebody else that's interested in that. And that's why I said, I was pretty confident that we would want that.
So then the point that I bring up, the point that you made though, okay, so opening day, does it matter if it's opening day or will any time that weekend? Would that Saturday be a good draw? Would that, if they don't want us to take Saturday be a good draw? Would that, if they don't want us to take key days, which are they saying that opening day is a key day because it's this Wisconsin State Fair Day?
It's because it's down on the farm day. So they're promoting a lot, they're bringing in the petting zoo. So they're promoting a lot, they're bringing in the petting zoo and animals, and they're expecting a lot of people to come to that.
The thing with May and weekends in May is that there are graduations everywhere,
Yep.
and families will be at graduations.
And
Okay.
True.
So the question is, do we want to move it out of May then? Since we're already getting the media drop, and we're already going to have attention there if we can get Lance Allen there, we're already going to get TV coverage. Do we want to pull out of May and go into June, July, August?
Promotion
We already-
efforts going
yes,
into the opening
yeah.
day. Yeah.
Kind of spread out a little bit.
But look, if you look at August,
I really like those $1 beer nights. That's going to draw people.
if you're looking at that, then it's got to be on a weeknight. Or to your point, there's Chicago at the end of the month. Their last series in Chicago, we could do something there at the like a fan appreciation thing. Thursday night, 6:30. Thursday night, 6:30. There's
for September 1st,
we could do something like they don't have anything like that as a marquee game. especially if they're going to the playoffs, it'll be around that time.
That's good.
You can do a fan appreciation thing either around that time.
That's good.
You can do a fan appreciation thing either the 30th, 31st, or 1st.
First.
They're probably trying to do that on the 27th or 28th because of kids and having school. Because of kids and having school.
And Labor Day is on the 5th, I'm assuming.
Correct.
So that Thursday's kind of, would probably be a nice kickoff to Labor Day weekend.
Right.
You want to give that an idea? Tell them a fan appreciation thing on the 1st.
Instead of the 13th.
Push for the 13th, but if they can't, let's see what they say about fan appreciation. But ask them if they could please give us that firework night on the 9th.
Oh, yep.
A firework night, and then
Forum.
and then the 1st of September.
Oh, instead of the 13th.
Yeah, instead of the 13th.
Okay. Got it.
So is everybody good with him moving forward? And then what will happen is Nathan will provide to him the content for the Jumbotron, and then he'll send that out to Sandy, and Sandy will send it all to us. Okay,
Okay, that's it.
good job. All right, 6:45, closing Milkman activations and Franklin Field. Closing Milkman activations and Franklin Field. Item number 5, funding request, Franklin Parks and Concerts. So I think it was 2 meetings ago we discussed this a little bit. When I think it was just us three. When I think it was just us three that were here, right? And then we decided to table it. The Franklin Concerts is asking for the $1,000. I think the explanation that I gave was 2 years ago, I believe it was. It was 2-3 years ago. We contributed the $1,000. Right after that, we met at Lance's hotel and came up with a mission statements of what we were going to be able to contribute our funding to. I could not get on our site today to do you have by any chance?
Let's see.
And you got it right there.
I have something from, it's May 5th of 21.
Yep.
I just have one copy. Do you have
Here,
a copy of it?
yeah, I can just read it.
Okay.
So pretty much it's our core values. We use our pillars on which we decide on how we spend our funding. The pillars are market, brand, welcome, and develop. Market means we engage in marketing activities designed to increase tourism awareness. Brand is we brand Franklin as a place that is a high for both residents and visitors. Welcome is we support visitors and businesses. Develop is we partake in activities designed to bring additional revenue streams to the commission and the city. If a funding request or an innovative does not fall into one of these 4 pillars, the Tourism Commission may aid with said request or innovative. Please keep in mind that by state statute, Tourism Commission funds must be used for tourism promotion and development that is likely to generate paid overnights at local hotels. So the issue that our city hall believes that we should be contributing to some of, and if you want to pass it around, we should be contributing to some of these additional responsibilities. So I think when we last talked, there was some, we were kind of split on, I think when we last talked, there was some, we were kind of split on where we stood with funding for this. So we thought we were going to table it and wait till we had more involvement so we can have more of a conversation about it. So here we are.
I think you made one comment.
So here we are.
I think you made one comment in there regarding brand.
You got all this?
The
Everybody got
quality,
this?
yeah, developing a quality for citizens and visitors.
Yep.
And I think this definitely falls into the developing quality or branding the city for our own citizens. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that the only people who come to those concerts are Franklinites. I mean, I go to concerts in Greenfield and other places, so not that they're necessarily spending a night in a hotel, but I think we are expanding our draw to the wider community. And one other comment I'd like to make is that right now we are probably the only entity that is doing any kind of public relations for the city, because there isn't anything coming out of City Hall. And the more we can do about making sure that we portray Franklin as a good place to live for those of us who do live here, and also for those who so that it's not just the concerts. I think there are other organizations that can help to foster that as well.
Do you want to comment? Or do you want me to comment? I can go next if you want me to.
No, that's fine.
No, I can if you
I
want.
would just explain. Vern is part of your group. Vern and I go way back. The state statutes that created this commission state that our primary focus is to spend money on tourism activities. I understand there's a wide variety of activities that can fall on. We deal with a bigger chunk of dollars and allocate where those are going to go. Through the folks at the Rock, they've created another entity called Engage Franklin that we kind of are going to partner with, and they're the ones that are going to be promoting the community activities, the calendars for all the civic events and all of those kind of things. My personal preference would be that the money came from that organization. We do and can fund that organization. It's just my personal preference is I'd rather not get involved in, and I don't mean this disrespectful, but the small little things that we look at. Okay, here's the block of money that we have. Where is most of it going to go? So I guess I don't have a problem with the concerts or any of the effort or the things like that. It's just I don't think this is the appropriate venue. I think the other organization is where the money should come from.
Okay.
And then we'd have to talk about, how we're funding them. That I kind of wish they were here so we could have had that update to see where they're at with that.
The parks, you mean?
Yeah, no, with the
Engage Franklin. Oh,
Engage
got it.
Franklin.
Okay.
I guess my concern with this is, like any small concerts like this, you're taking business away from other businesses in Franklin as well. So if you're having a series of concerts now Red River's not going to have their draw, Rock's not going to have their draw. I mean, you're taking it's a competition, and for us to fund that from our business money, I think you're looking at a slippery slope because other entities, I agree with, the idea of funding it to a different source. Why doesn't the park commission, I think the park should be doing this. I think there should be other entities that can do this. Maybe a suggestion is have food trucks come and set up, and you take a percentage of the money from the food trucks, so they have it. I guess the question is, what are we going to look like if we take our money that are generated from our businesses towards this, and they're taking money away from, or we're taking money away from them? Or is there going to be some type of conflict in that? That would be my caution. That would be my caution on that. It is hard to say if these people.
Monopoly.
What's
You're
that?
just going to do it to one person, and
Okay.
nobody else should have anything
All right.
else the same days. That doesn't sound
But
fair
it's just,
either.
but it's just business. I mean, it's it's just, and like I said, it's hard, and it's hard to say people aren't coming out of town for this. It's great. Aren't coming out of town for this. It's great. How do you measure that? I don't know. It's really hard to imagine.
Mark?
But
The concern I have, and I've come to the concerts a number of times too. The concern I have is establishing a precedent for all the other,
You've said that, yeah.
other things that do not generate out or overnight stays, because that is our charter. That's how we're funded, by overnight stays. And if we were to approve, and I know it's just $1,000, if we were to approve that, we establish for anybody else to come in and say, I need 750, I need 1,050, I need whatever, and it's going to be good for the city, it's going to show positive things for the city, but it doesn't fit in our charter. And I realize that has money that can spend on something like that, and it does fit into tourism as a definition, just not our charter. So I think Engage Franklin is the right thing. That's my concern.
I have experience in another community, and it was prior to when the state law $50,000 every year. And every year, all the nonprofits came and they said, I need 10,000 for this, I need 7,500 for this. Then you start to ask questions. Well, what happens if you don't get the $7,500? Well, then I can't do my event. So now you're relying solely on the, so I'm trying to avoid those kind of things. And then state law changed that now the communities can't set up that little fund and say this is for those kind of activities because the law changed.
So my 2 cents on it is that I feel like this is what Engage is that I feel like this is what Engage Franklin's for. I wish we were farther ahead with Engage Franklin, because I truly think that the values that we set in place with the commission, the Tourism Commission, allows us to strictly stick with just tourism type adventures that puts heads in beds. But the purpose of Engage Franklin is to help members of the community that need this support or want this to help members of the community that need this support or want this type of support. And this is 100% why we wanted to form Engage Franklin with The Rock. I would like to know who the president of the Parks Commission is, because I'm not speaking for them, but I'm sure that they're in the parks that could be contributed towards this. That's the first thing I thought of when they were talking. And my other comment is that reading this, there is a loophole though, guys, if we want to. It states that in the funding request does not fail into one of the pillars that the tourism may choose not to proceed. So when we put may in there, that means that we could. If we feel that there's some sort of donation tie behind it. What's holding me, and even to maybe move forward with a vote, is I don't like that the Parks Commission is not supporting this. And I feel like that, just like the Economic Development Commission did to us with the rebrand, they put it all onto us. And that's what the inbox tends to blow up on. I tend to get phone calls regularly from citizens, from people trying to explain what our funding goes towards. And that's my number one complaint from City Hall right now, is that no one understands where our funding comes from. So, that said, if they think that they can dictate where our funding comes from, I'd like to know where their funding is. Like, this is a parks event. Do you know anything about the parks?
You'd like to know where parks?
It was to help the community. It was help the city. And the purpose of us helping the city is by marketing, branding, trying to increase awareness and tourism. But this is the number one complaint that we've gotten since we've been here, is that every recording tonight, then we'll have the Forte Theater here again.
Right.
We'll have Little League here again. We'll have Croatia. We'll have Polita Soccer Club here again. And then the $1,000 turns into $10, $12, $15, $20,000.
Right.
Where I stand, but I do feel that I feel for this because there was conversations before with the Forte Theater that we were going to help them build a theater. We've talked about that.
Right.
You know, we talked about maybe they got a theater on the Rock property. We talked about, you know, continuing this concert series. We've talked about the Rock property. We talked about, you know, continuing this concert series. We've talked about doing things like this, like to help the community more, just to get more awareness within our community. And that, what I think, is what Engage Franklin's for.
I
So,
have two questions, pretty much.
I think is what Engage Franklin's for.
I
So,
have two questions, pretty much related. First of all, do we know how much money we currently have in the budget?
we have plenty of money.
I thought so. Okay, and then does Engage Franklin have any money?
No.
No. Okay, because it just
Engage
hasn't
Franklin
been-
does not have any money because it's just established, and the way that they're going to get money is by tying into this tie up to a membership fee type thing, and then of course then propose us for funding.
So we could.
So we could help. So we could pay into it.
So could we look at, and understanding this isn't something you can do just like that, but could we look at setting up a reasonable start to a fund that would go to Engage Franklin for those type of...
We have that in our budget to do. Like, it's that marketing. Remember when we allocated marketing dollars? I believe it's around, like, I think it was around like 80K we did.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted that strictly for real marketing or...
No, but I'm saying we don't have to allocate that. We proposed that. Sorry, I misquoted you. It was $20,000.
But that was for startup.
It was to take on additional advertising in 2022.
Oh, okay.
So which would be, we would say would fall under that if we wanted to help with Engage Frank.
program that we talked about with the marketing people, that was around 18 was what he was looking at for that program.
So even there too, though, we left additional $20,000 just in case in odd spots that if we would ever want to move it to other spots. We've left it to where if we wanted to help Engage Franklin start off, we can.
Then the only thing I would want to see would be the mechanism where we could track where that goes. That if it's allocated for those small purposes and helping, supporting local groups, that we have some accounting for
Okay.
how that got dispersed, accounting for
Okay.
how that got dispersed and spent.
But the money would come from Engage Franklin.
See,
Well,
that's
it
the
would-
key that we need. That's yes.
I mean, the thing is, I support that versus, because the entity, you know, somebody looking at tourism and saying we're using, but if we,
Yeah.
you know, if we could give it to Engage Franklin for the purpose of, you know, if we could give it to Engage Franklin for the purpose of,
We would give the money to Engage Franklin. Engage
Right.
Mike Franklin
With
would give
our
the money to
recommendation
the parks
for-
concerts.
right, for improving the community engagement.
I think, I
That would be
mean,
more better than,
so I think the homework we need to do though is, I need to talk to the Parks Commission. So I think the homework we need to do though is, I need to talk to the Parks Commission. Who's in charge of that?
I'd have to look.
Okay.
I know that Alderman Hanneman is on the Parks Commission.
I'll talk to Sherry.
Some of their money comes from park impact fees, but some of their money comes from park impact fees, but there are restrictions on park impact fees.
I'll send Sherry a note.
And there's also a buy-in, so if you spend a certain amount of impact fees, the city has to match that to use those fees. So there's all different kinds of ties. Involved in that, but
So I think the questions that I have, because I'll call Sherry. Would we be willing to split it with the parks? Is that any open for conversation? I should say, because we're not voting on anything tonight.
I think it
So
would still need to go through Engage Franklin.
okay.
Or you establish a
Franklin.
precedent that anybody can come to us and say, do you have an extra $500?
Okay. So
And
then,
that's what Engage Franklin is gonna be.
yeah, so engage, sorry. Yep, of these pillars that we talked about, our money is only allocated towards stuff that's heads and beds.
Okay.
We feel for programs like this, and part of our Franklin Field agreement is that we would form a tourism identity with the Rock that would support business type events like this to be supported and branded in our community. So regardless if it was towards funding or if it was promoting for marketing or kind of helped elevate it to like reach Tosa, Milwaukee, other parts of the area, we could help promote it with that. We are not able to do that with our current pillars are and how they are set up at City Hall. So I think what the problem is that we're trying to figure a way to fund stuff. I think what the problem is that we're trying to figure a way to fund stuff like this, but how we're set up, it's just not suitable for that. And that's where once we form these pillars, it kind of
Yeah, we do, I mean, we do have a,
kind of
yeah, we do, I mean, we have a village over here that someone spent literally thousands, millions, I don't know what it costs to put that up, which is, it's a destination. I mean, whether you're from Fond du Lac or Oshkosh or next door, people are, park, let's go see that in the village at the same time.
I
Whether
think-
they're gonna stay in a motel,
I think how you can help us is, when is your first concert?
the 26th of June.
Is this the concert?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I see the date. Sorry, I see it.
They're all set, yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting 2021 and 2022 confused.
That's all right. One of those.
It's one of those.
I'd like to just make one comment too. I was familiar with Oak Creek and what they did with their tourism dollars. And it seemed as if, and what they did was they did a tremendous number of events for the city. You know, they did not necessarily bring in people from out of the city totally. You know, they didn't necessarily support other, groups that came to them and asked for money. They just did it.
I think if we want to talk about changing our pillars, I think that we can be open to that conversation. I think the way that our pillars were set, though, can be open to that conversation. I think the way that our pillars were set, though, was based off of, so I'm open for any suggestions with that. I mean, there's a lot of people reevaluating since the pandemic how their spending is spent and how we go about doing it. I do know Oak Creek, since the pandemic, how their spending is spent and how we go about doing it. I do know Oak Creek is doing that as well, because I was on a couple calls with them. But I think the sole purpose of this is that we still want to help. How we were forming it, we still want to help. How we were forming it was with Engage Franklin. That doesn't mean that we can't support it this year. Engage Franklin is pretty much formed. If we read the agreement, we read the contract, they were just deciding what type of 501 it was, right? Is that what it was
I
last
thought
time?
we had that straightened out. the
We had
last
that
time.
straightened out. So it might be as simple as asking Joe and Mike if we can contribute just to help this, give an allotment, if this would fall under that criteria.
To get it started before they go out and solicit their partnerships.
I think
Okay.
that's the best way- I think that's
Anything
the
would
best way
help
to do
folks.
it.
When do you need to know by?
Yesterday.
Today.
So
Okay.
you have no funding available?
Yes, we do.
No,
we do.
everything that we're doing now has already,
So I know when.
there is money for 2022.
We set, we
There is.
are set.
Yeah, then next year we're starting
Okay,
all.
start
as
all over.
soon as
So
this
how
is
would
all,
ours
we're
be?
starting
How would our funding be utilized?
For next year's,
For next year's,
Oh, for 2023.
well, it
you
could,
would have, yeah.
they always, I am not the treasurer, so I don't handle that portion of it, Don Dorset does. But they always need some money because they do advertising, they always need some money because they do advertising, they have brochures
Brochures,
printed.
I mean,
So can you tell us, like, so what do we get for the $1,000?
Well, hopefully we're looking for another date if possible.
Another date?
We're trying to get
Better
one more. We're
bands,
trying-
some
better-
other-
Maybe better bands.
Our
That
name
would
would,
draw more people.
Yeah,
For-
that would be my,
Better bands.
our
That
name
would
would,
draw more people.
yeah,
For-
that would be my preference. I'd like to
Right.
see you have better groups that draw more.
Right.
For 2023 or 2022?
Well, 2022, the contracts are, I mean, people are assigned to be playing.
Okay.
Those people that are on that list have already,
So in
Every
theory,
contract.
we have time then on this. Got
And we
it.
would like to hire better bands, but I'm telling you, the bands, some of the places I call, I mean, you guys, somebody like, the Britons show up at Greenfield. I bet they get, I might be overestimating, they get at least 5,000 people.
but they get at least 5,000.
I want to talk to Sherry then.
There's, they're selling, I think they even have.
That's probably the best
they built
approach.
They built,
I'll chat with Sherry, just and give an update then next time on a little bit what the park says. I feel like that they should contribute a little bit there.
Well, let us know. 'Cause
Yeah, we will.
This is an entire different entity than the park commission. Although it's held in the park,
we're just a private, parks or the city or anything, we're just a private corporation.
No, and I understand
didn't know
that.
I'm the director, they
Yeah.
said, guess what, this is how it works, but I wasn't aware of
They
it.
don't charge you for the park, do they?
I'm sorry,
Do they charge you for the park?
they have a waiver because it's a, I'm sorry. the,
Non-profit?
It's a nonprofit organization and.
we have to apply for,
Organization and.
we have to apply for
We
that.
have to
do
apply
all
for
of
that, and then they waive the fee.
I see.
So that's probably
You have to
what
get a
they're
permit.
saying their donation is?
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
But the thing is always, I mean, we can't start next year with no funds.
No,
guess.
I
You know
understand
what I
that.
mean? So, 'cause-
Right.
But the date of your first,
So, 'cause-
Right.
yeah.
but the date of your first concert isn't really the issue.
No, that's
No, this will happen.
right. That's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Money is
I wouldn't do it until I told them there was, it's because they said, go ahead, just hire the band. I said, I won't do that, so I wanted to make sure everything's.
There's enough money to hire.
Money to hire.
I think we have a consensus that
Money to hire.
I think we have a consensus that we want to help. It's just how
How to
How
do it.
to.
Anything would be
Yep.
helpful.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to Sherry.
You just saved $3,000 on the baseball thing.
9,000.
2,000 ahead? Oh, we did 2,000.
All righty. All right.
Okay.
All righty. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
keep
well,
us
thank
posted.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
for
much.
seeing us and giving our.
7-11, closing funding request for Franklin Parks and Concerts. Item number 6, the Franklin Hotel kiosk research. So kiosk research. So I don't know if everybody remember. I put this one in here for tonight. I know we talked about last time, like the visitor center, and we discussed probably not doing that. But we talked about funding some sort of kiosk that we put in the hotels. That can be tied to businesses, so people can research restaurants, locations. I believe you brought up the idea. Did you bring anything?
Yeah, well, I had this
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
the
you.
reason, I mean, I was researching this, I have a copy for everybody, but
It's okay if you
Can you
don't.
share?
but this is just a picture of the,
So I think my idea of putting this on here is that I think add something that stuck out into my head that you stated a few times ago is we need to start with, we're doing a lot with the Franklin Field and that activation. I've been trying to pull my hair out, getting banners put up in our community again. And this here is one of the projects I know that we really wanted to push for this year. So go ahead.
well,
Push for this year. So go ahead.
well, I was researching this for myself, our company, and this is one company that came out, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but they sell these, basically it's a big giant iPad. And if you really wanna look at it, you load it up, you can do it. There's some different variations of it, there's stuff that hang on the wall and stuff, and I'm not sure, there's companies out there that will program it for you and everything. That's the only downside about this, is trying to figure out who's gonna program what, is it gonna be programmed throughout? They get So that's more in depth than I think this TV liquidator does. They just sell the monitor.
Okay.
I think last time we talked about the hotels not being able to put it in their lobby, though. That was one of the questions.
I think we need to explore that, don't we?
Yeah, because I mean, I think it's you know, I mean, I think because I mean, I think it's you know, I mean, I think it's, you see it at the airports where you know walk in and you can touch screen it. I think it's a very viable thing, and I think business will appreciate it in Franklin. You know, also you come up there and you can just have it running, what's going on. So I think it's a very good. I don't, like I said, there might be a local company that does this. Maybe I said there might be a local company that does this. Maybe
So that was my
some-
question to you, is like, so when you were researching this, what I don't want to happen is we all sat through a field presentation a long time ago, and they made us a site, and they told us to go get social media, and nobody's operating it or updating it or managing it, Who did you find people to create this?
Well, this particular thing you do on your own. So you
Do it
actually you load this thing up. Like I said, it's just like a computer or an iPad. You load it up with a drive, and it just plays what you want it to do.
Okay.
There are other ones that you can do this very specific to, and you would have control over it. You take the drive out and you change it, put it back in, but I mean, if you're looking at how many units you're looking at, maybe a time-consuming effort, or there's something I'm going to look into. You know, like I could look into saying, well, there's a company that says, okay,
I used to have an advertising TV channel. Actually, I still do, but right now it's controlled out of our main motherboard. But before, I would go into my office and I'd program when I would want it to appear and when I wanted to take off, and I'd put in ads and take off ads, etc. And we paid a monthly service
correct.
for that to be operating, and then there was anybody on site could help me change out the ads or create content.
You know, I was looking more for interactive, and that's what these are. You know, you can program, you can touch screen and say restaurants, and I think that these are. You know, you can program, you can touch screen and say restaurants, and I think there. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's services out there you can do that. I think, but I think it'd be worthwhile exploring it.
Okay.
At least start off with a couple of them, and you know, so we have to explore if they can have it at the hotel.
I will comment that at one point I wanted to put some materials for the chamber into the hotels. So I talked to somebody over at the Staybridge, and because they have these nice, you know, all these brochures, and they said, well, sorry, all of those companies pay us money in their hotels. We might have to be prepared for that.
So I think
But, I mean, this could actually go into, you know, I mean, it's like, I think it's, you know, I think the hotel would appreciate, because then takes away from, but again, he said something about the lobby may not, but he thought that they could put it down the hall onto the, you know, the wall.
we got in trouble last time when we didn't go through with them.
Mhm.
So we should probably, do you know who's in charge of that?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll look at it.
There's too many
This is why
there's
I'm
too
happy
many
you got
commissions.
reelected.
Yeah,
This is also something that we would want to coordinate with Engage Franklin.
Is it?
Well, I would think so, to solicit.
Right.
So it may be the thing where, okay, you get a listing, but if you're Engage Franklin and you're paying dollars, you get your picture or whatever, you know, that kind
Get your
of
menu
thing.
or
the
something.
banner.
Yeah, I don't want to compete with them. But
Banner.
yeah, I don't want to compete with them, but we
Right.
want to coordinate, I would think.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, the reason why I put it on the agenda tonight, because I feel like Engage Franklin is going to come at us a million miles an hour once they form the site. They've already formed a site. Come at us a million miles an hour once they form the site. They've already formed a site. It's a matter of just going live. So I was thinking we should do the homework on this. To your point, is if you wanted to go to Engage Franklin, the stuff from the site, it would be incorporated on this, is kind of what I was thinking. And then to your point, on this is kind of what I was thinking. And then to your point, if we could find a third party to just manage it, or manage these kiosks, maybe they're even leased. Like, that's kind of like, so we don't have to buy a TV screen or buy these monitors. Maybe it's leased. That's kind of like, so we don't have to buy a TV screen or buy these monitors. Maybe it's leased, and then you're paying for a service rather than paying for everything out of pocket.
I would think you could have one somewhere up at the Rock.
Yeah,
That's,
Sure.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you'd want to do it, like at the Rock.
yeah.
That's,
Sure.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you'd want to do it, like at the Rock, and start. I mean, even if you like you do one or two. I mean, it doesn't have to be at the hotel. It'd be nice. I mean, I think
Mhm.
Staybridge. I'm sure.
Doesn't he have a new hotel too? Isn't
Yeah.
he has that
Yeah,
new
there
little
will
one?
be.
There's supposed to be a new
But I
one,
mean,
Another
the
one at
Lux,
the Rock.
even the Lux golf thing would
Yeah.
be a good thing. Yeah.
2 new ones.
Mm-hmm. I know this isn't on the agenda, but you sort of opened up the door here talking about
Mhm.
this kiosk. Is the commission still considering hiring somebody as
No.
a tourism director? Okay.
Unless we want to talk about that. I think the last we talked was let's get Engage Franklin up and running.
Mhm.
And then I don't think the support would come out of City Hall to have somebody here. Or in what we're thinking about doing or what we want this to be. I think the plan and the vision that we all stated we wanted was to keep doing what we're doing. If we want to bring that up for consideration, we can, but remember that's in our agreement with Rock Venture, and we decided that we were not going to do that until talk about that at least until Engage Franklin's formed. And we decided that we were not going to do that until talk about that at least until Engage Franklin's formed.
Mm-hmm.
If we ended up revising what we do and say we want to run events and we want to do all that, then you'd have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't really want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't really want to necessarily pay for somebody that we have no control over, you know what I mean? So if Engage Franklin hires their own person and we support Engage Franklin financially, I don't have to worry that, well, I'm paying half the salary, but I want to know what the person's doing, and, I don't get involved in all that.
I think we're getting good leeway with Rock Venture right now, meaning we're seeing more come out of it than we did when we had a staff member and abilities to help with the activations. I think now it's like we're finally starting to see what Engage Franklin could become, but now we're trying to fill in these dots of, okay, well, we were supposed to have a visitor center. That's what I'm trying to say. So now we didn't want a visitor center. We talked about going down this route that everyone seemed to love. This is the stuff I think we can get started with and get prepared for. So when Engage Franklin gets there, we're like, okay, let's invest into this. Where do we put it? How much is it going to cost? What do we want to do? I'm glad you brought
You
these.
can keep that.
So.
I mean, again, it's just an idea, and it's like, I think you don't have to start. You can just buy one, or try to get one going and see what it looks like. Even if it's in City Hall, or talk to the IT guys, and maybe they have an idea. It doesn't sound like it's hard to program. I mean, it runs off of the internet, so it's but again, you have, again, you have to take it somewhere.
And that's not a bad price,
No,
not at all, for one kiosk.
and that's what I was looking at, because I said, for that price, it's like,
Yeah.
You looking at that for the Polish Center?
I was thinking, I was talking about Polish
Putting
Fest.
up in your, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I was going to use that Polish Fest and Polish, and the thing is,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to use that Polish Fest and Polish, and the thing is, you could use these for surveys and stuff like that, where people,
Sure. Can you move them around too?
yeah.
So you can just
You
plug
just
them in
plug in,
anywhere?
Yeah, it's like a TV.
Oh, that's
So
And
nice.
it's
it's like
Wi-Fi
that,
access,
you just
yeah.
touch.
It's just like this. It'd be just like this would be it.
Sure.
And then you could, but it's touchscreen, or there's, but I'm like, pull the trigger on it.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with you with a third party helping us, because there's things that I can tell you that I walk into my stores all the time and see them off,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, why are they off? And then it's like I paid to have these on, and then I call my guys and they're like, oh, we set the timer for when the team was in town, so turn it on now, like type deal. So I don't think we should be, I don't want to be riding my bike around in the morning to all our hotels.
Right.
And saying,
Oh,
oh, that's
that'd
not
be
on,
great
that's not
exercise.
on, that's not on, that's not on, so.
I mean, you could go as a simple route of this and just
Yeah.
have it as a monitor, just,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
this would be more touchscreen where you can say, oh, and
Exactly.
then populate it.
So
And like I said, you can have the banner ad where, you know, like if Point After wants to do an ad, then they can say, you know, today's chicken wing night, you know, it'd be more interactive, but that's way beyond, like I said, somebody should look into it. as far
and
as
I
the
just
third
want to
person.
know, like somebody said, we may have, would we have to pay to place them? And would especially the big hotel chains have restrictions on?
Right.
Yeah.
And you gotta get a spot where it's gonna be public, not just,
But it doesn't all have to be hotels either, so.
Right.
Either,
Right.
so.
but you wanna where business travelers go and something, you don't want it just at a bar, because it just, that doesn't,
Okay.
okay.
So are we good exploring this? Is this the direction we maybe want to go next? Or is there anything else we want to focus on before this?
Who and how do we do that?
So probably how would happen is I would probably reach out to find out who's part of the IT commission. I'd probably go to one of their meetings and ask them if that's what they're involved in, or email whoever's in charge of that to see if they have any advice on how to get started and moving forward with something like this. We would probably have to put out an RFP for a company, post something for an RFP for a company that does something like this, and then we interview those individuals. But before that, we should probably go to the hotels. I can go to the hotels and ask and talk to whomever's in charge of those hotels to see if they're interested in pursuing us putting a kiosk on the area. But I think when we did it, we had to put on an RFP. Remember that?
Yeah, it would be wonderful if we had a local
Company,
vendor,
yeah.
a company
Right.
that could do this
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
Great.
So let's start with the IT commission to see what type of service we're looking for. And then I'll reach out to City Hall to see what type of service we're looking for. And then I'll reach out to City Hall to see what we need to do to put up an RFP for that type of service. And then we can see what we get in. And then in the meantime, we can reach out to the hotels to see if they want to participate. And then we can loop Mike and Joe in to see if they want this to be part. If they want to participate, and then we can loop Mike and Joe in to see if they want this to be part of Engage Franklin.
I'm sure Rock would want one, I mean,
Yeah.
that would see
Why
that.
not?
I think they should have
Probably
one
They
since
probably have already.
it is part of their agreement with us to
Right.
have a visitor center on there. If we're not having a visitor center on it, it should
We
be
can at least do that.
comparable to
A
that.
lot less expensive.
So if you
I
wanna-
left it with Nathan that I was not gonna pursue the visitor center for right now.
Okay, do you want to tell him that we're pursuing these touch screens to maybe go somewhere on the
And maybe they
facility?
have enough.
It might not even be, it might be movable to your point to where
Right.
sometimes it's down by their Little League diamonds, sometimes it's over by the,
Sure.
Yeah, I can bring it up with him.
We don't have to start, tell them to start there, I mean,
Yeah.
just see if it works.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then what's good is that it actually controls.
Let me have that one.
Yeah, you wanna take these?
These control, you know, like how many clicks, engagements they have and all
Yes.
that, you can, you know, see if it's working or not.
Sure.
So the website says Scott Mead does not give a number.
Who else is on that commission?
Our new alderwoman, Michelle Eichmann,
Okay.
Greg Stroig, Dale Webler, Laura Galusha. I don't know any of these people. James Reberger, Laura McKinnon.
My goodness. a big
Do you want to
group.
It's a
email?
big-
Can you do anything to help us?
Staff
Being an ad hoc?
support is Jim Metelsky.
I guess. I think so.
Do you have any interest in emailing, or do you want me to?
Emailing these through.
Emailing
IT?
Scott Mead.
These through.
Emailing
IT?
Scott Mead and asking. I can do it.
Yeah, I
I
think
can
you
do
should,
it.
yeah, I
I'll do
think
it.
you should probably do that.
City
One-
staff, Jim Metelsky is the Director of Information Technology. He's here down in the basement of City Hall.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, it's best.
And I got a number for him.
It's best.
And I got a number for him. 414-427-7645.
Okay, great.
One other comment, as I was looking through the statute for some reason, we have to file a report by May 1st.
What?
To the state. And I believe Sandy has done that in the past. So I'm just,
All right, I'll talk to Sandy.
yeah, wondering if she will be doing that. I know I have gone on wondering if she will be doing that. I know I have gone on the state website in the past, and she has filed our report
Okay.
previously, but the deadline's next week, so, or, yeah, 10 days.
Okay.
What's the report say?
I don't know, it's
They wanna
like
know
how
how
much
the
money
money
you've
gets
got,
spent.
who's in
And
charge.
maybe they had me do that and I just clicked a bunch of zeros.
Yeah.
They might have had me they had me fill out some survey before. I'm just like, what is this?
Okay.
And I'm just like, click,
Oh.
click, 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 click. And I'm just like, okay. All right, let's wrap this to 7:30, closing, Franklin Hotel kiosk reached and voucher approvals. So guys, this has been horrible. The banners. We're probably gonna have to do another drive around now that winter's over to see if there's any more that have fallen down.
They
But
fall down or they get stolen?
they fell down off of a windstorm.
I'm sure the wind
Oh.
was in it.
Text Andy Keek from Olympus to see if he installed these, but the payroll department would like us to approve the voucher, which we already talked about, for $4,300 to pay Olympus for the banner signs.
The ones on the side.
These are the ones that blew away during the first winter storm
Okay.
that we replaced. We replaced 18 of them.
Wow.
And they are now just starting to get up because they took a long time getting us a permit to get these put up on in our roads.
Even though they had already,
Time you go to put them up, you need a new permit.
Is it a city permit or,
No,
county.
it's a city and a county permit.
because didn't you say it's like $400 from the county?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well, the county is gonna be doing the bridge on 76th Street.
However, the permit was here because, I don't know, they participated with something with this. Does the permit for the county still come here too? Yeah, somehow Glenn and all them were involved, and it was taking for a while for us all to get back and forth. Finally, Andy called me and said, hey, I just need to get a permit, and I need to know if it's good to go. And I said, yeah, go ahead. So he's putting them up. I don't know if he's completed, but they sent us a bill.
How much is it for?
$4,430. And I can tell you I don't think he put them up yet, but I'm gonna drive around again this weekend if he did, and there might be a fee of budgeted $5,000 this year for it. So we're right around
How
about
much do
it.
we pay a piece for those?
So that's what we talked about last time. Olympus has invested, and Callie when she was here, advised me that we should probably buy them in bulk and store them at the Franklin area so that Andy can just have his installers come pick them up, go put them up whenever one or two fall down. If we buy them in bulk, we save pricing. We paid $155 each for, pricing. We paid $155 each for, we bought 18 of them. It was, for the vinyl banners, was $155 each. And then a field survey costs $690 each. And then a field survey costs $690, and the installation costs $950 total. So if we buy them in bulk and store them here, we're spending more.
Can I get the specs on those?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I get the specs on those?
Yeah, go ahead. And this is the other thing too, is if we want to put it on an RFP, my point is that we're going to have to replace these every year now, and we know that. We're going to have to put this in our budget for okay, this year we replaced 18 or 30 some, but the spec is 60 by 20. Do you want to take a picture of the invoice?
Yeah.
60 by 24 and they're 18 ounces. I even asked him if he can go a larger ounce, so maybe it doesn't. He says, Sean, it's not the weight, it's just that it's the wind. And
So they're like doing a mesh one instead too.
yeah.
Was it primarily along Ryan Road that they blew away?
18 of them, I can tell you from what I've seen, it's a lot by 76th Street, right by Staybridge there. There was a couple over in that vicinity.
Yeah.
There's some over by the, and then there was some over here by Loomis, by Walgreens.
Oh, yeah.
So they counted 18 total, but I need to find out if they're all up, because then I need to drive around, and I'm not gonna pay for a site survey. But that's the other thing I'll say is if there's a company that's cheaper, to do that at this time as well. Regardless, we need a budget and keep track of how many. But yet alone, I need approval for $4,430.
I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice for $4,430.
Okay, Mark approves. Can I get a second?
I was seconded. Okay.
All opposed? Okay, pass.
I was gonna say, I just think it's funny, this county charges you $400 for a permit to hang those,
Yeah.
and they're gonna they sent the notice to the city because they're gonna redo the bridge on 76th Street, and they wanna charge the city. You're taking it down, you do it.
All right, next meeting, May. We're looking at, is that the 18th?
18th will be our normal.
Does that work for everybody?
Think so.
Yep.
Okay, May 18th. All right, item number 9, adjournment.
Make a motion we adjourn.
Mark motions. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.